Well, we've just had a pump on the Cardano chart and yeah, it went from 43 cents to about 60 cents or so, and it got to the 2.618 extension that I have on the chart. Now, I don't want to say that I told you so, but I told you so. Now, before I continue with the update, consider checking out our memberships on our Patreon if you want to support the channel and if you want access to all of our charts. The memberships are not really expensive, so, we help you out and you get to help us out as well. I mean, that's how it works. But yeah, like I said, if you want to support the channel, then consider checking out the memberships. Now, let's continue with Cardano. So yeah, this is not really surprising. This is a C wave after all. Now, I would be lying if I said that I knew a pump like this would happen, because yes, I was still expecting a pump, but I was not expecting it to be this impulsive. And I kind of have to change my view about this Elliot wave. So I had some kind of support level here. Obviously, we did not need it. We continued to pump. So I see this C wave as an A, B, C structure rather than what I had on the chart before. And I don't know if it's complete. I mean, this could obviously overextend like crazy because it's a C wave. So let's just put on a few more extensions on the charts. For example, the 3.618 and yeah, let's put the 300% extension as well. I mean, why not? And we'll see where the price reacts. Like I said, we are still in the third wave right here and it could top at any moment. If you look at the 4-hour chart, we are currently overbought. And of course, we were also overbought here and we cooled off and then we got another pump. So this third wave move to the upside could overextend like crazy. It's a third wave after all. And yeah, we still need a fourth wave at some point. I don't know when we will get a fourth wave move, but we will need one, because don't forget, to confirm that the second wave move down right here is actually in, we still need 5 waves up. And so far, we do not have that, at least in my opinion. We only have 3 waves up, and the fourth wave needs to happen. Now, of course, once we start dropping, then I will give you a support region for that. And the fifth wave, I mean, it could even put us above the 100% extension right here. Well, this high right here of the main first wave move. And then after we do that, that will form a first wave move to the upside, which is the first main wave of this third wave move to the upside. And I have been talking about this for the past 4 months. I don't know why people are expecting me to be surprised that we got a pump. I know this right here was very, very boring, but I told you that at some point we would need a third wave move to the outside, because that's what we did in the previous cycle. If we check out what happened in the previous cycle right here, we went up in a 1-2 setup, just like we did right now. Even though this 1-2 setup was a bit different, this 1-2 setup actually looked more similar to this right here, but it does not really matter. It was still a 1-2 setup. And this happened at the exact same time of the cycle. And as you can see here, we were going sideways between August and let's say October of 2020. And then in November, we had a pump. And guess what? This was a halving year. And guess what happens this year, which is also a halving year? We were going sideways for multiple months. And then now we have a pump. So is this surprising? Not really, to be honest with you. I've been talking about this for a very long time now. And of course, it's not too late to buy, in my opinion. If you still want to buy, it's a good zone, I guess, but I would suggest waiting for some kind of correction first. Of course, this is my financial advice, but if you really wanted to buy this, I mean, you should have bought down here, not up here, but you're still not too late because we are still far away from the all-time highs. Just like we were down here in the previous cycle. Here, if you remember what I said in my previous videos, here we were also 90% down from the previous all-time high. And what do you know, from the previous all-time high right here of 2021, we are also about 90% down. Well, not anymore. We're down way less than that now. Let's actually see how much. About 80% now. So, there is still potential for Cardano to hit $5 to $8 in the cycle, and my predictions pretty much stayed the exact same. Now, I think it's very unlikely that we get another second wave move down right here. I think it's safe to assume that we have bottomed, but you never know what happens. We could always get some kind of black swan event, and that could ruin everything. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know, like I said. Now, I've also once thought about Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, yes, Bitcoin dominance got a correction, like I predicted many times. As I said, Bitcoin dominance always goes down in November, and it did so far. But there is something weird about this, and that is the fact that it only went down about 2% or so, and Cardano already had this huge pump, which, like I said, this is very, very weird. And if you look at the 8-up Bitcoin chart, as you can see, the 8-up Bitcoin chart also had a pump, but Bitcoin dominance did not really go down that much. So this really makes me wonder what will happen once Bitcoin dominance actually drops to about 40% or so. And I really wonder what will happen once we get the real altcoin season. Now, of course, you could say that the altcoin season has already started for Cardano, but, this is not really an altcoin season. This will only be the first wave of the main third wave move to the upside. And if you can remember, down here, after we got this 1-2 setup, we were at about 10 cents. And we still went up to about $3. So yeah, I don't believe you are too late, but if you want to get in, you should most likely get in now or when we get some kind of correction. But like I said, this is not financial advice. Also, if you check out what happened in the previous cycle in the third wave, as you can see in the third wave right there, we got above the 1.618 extension of the previous all-time high right here. And so far we have been copying exactly what happened in the previous cycle, so this really makes me wonder if we will do the exact same thing in this cycle as well. And maybe it's safe to assume that the third wave right here will get above the 1.618 of the previous 2021 all-time high, and then we will get a fourth wave move down, and then the fifth wave will touch the trend line that already has two touch points, as you can see, this all-time high and this all-time high right here. I mean, I would not be surprised to see that, to be honest with you. Now, I also want to talk about the monthly chart for a minute. As you can see, we finally got above the yellow line on the RSI, which is a very, very good sign. And right now, we could start bouncing like crazy. And it would take a lot for Cardano to go to the overbought territory on the monthly chart. I think we would need to be at about $4 or so. Probably less, probably like $3. So if we get something like we got right here in the previous cycle, I mean, Cardano could easily hit $8 in this cycle. Now, I also want to talk about Bitcoin, because as you know, Bitcoin is also important, and whatever Bitcoin does, Cardano usually follows. So as you can see, I mean, Bitcoin is following exactly what I told you, and it's following my scenario. It's currently going to the 200% extension of this 1-2 setup right here, and it's almost done with the third wave. We are like $800 away from that. I believe it will happen very, very soon. And after that, of course, we will need a fourth wave move down. And this is most likely when somehow, of course, we'll also get a correction, Cardano promptly included as well. And then in this fifth wave, we will most likely hit 100K by the end of the year. That has always been my prediction, and I have been predicting that since we were down here. So, Bitcoin always goes up. I don't know why people want to bet against it. I mean, right now, everyone who bought Bitcoin so far in the previous 13 years or so is currently in profit. So, well, unless you bought up here and we're now getting a correction. So, yeah, the road to 100K continues, and like I said many times, Bitcoin could easily get to about $255,000 in this cycle to get to the 3.618 extension right here. And why am I saying that? Well, if you check out what happened in the previous cycles, and by the way, this is the 3.618 extension of the previous all-time high. As you can see, in 2021, we also got the 3.618 extension of the previous all-time high of 2017. But you have to keep in mind, before we had this pump right here, we actually had a pandemic which played a role into this, and I think the price would have actually gone to the 4.618 extension, but that's only subjective. And also, FTX also played a role into this crash that we had right here, so, But if we check out what happened in the 2017 cycle, as you can see in 2017, we got above the 4.618, and I'm not saying we will go above the 4.618. I don't think that will happen, but if it does happen, then I would not be surprised, because so far, what I have been doing in this cycle looks more similar to the 2016 and 2017 cycle than the 2020 and the 2021 cycle. So if we get to like 300K in this cycle, I would not be surprised. And obviously, if we do something like that, then of course Cardano can even hit like $10 in this cycle. That's not really out of the question. But always remember to take profits. Now, I'm not telling you to take profits up here, of course. I mean, we only went up like what? 100% from that low right there. which to many people that could be a lot, but you know, in crypto, that's not really a lot. But you know, if you want to take project, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but still, I still believe Cardano will be one of the top performers in the cycle. And as you know, Cardano is a late performer, and when it starts pumping, it does not stop. So I would not be surprised if we got like $2 by the end of the year. Now, that will only happen if Bitcoin dominance continues dropping. If we get another high on the Bitcoin dominance chart, I don't think that will happen. But if we continue going down, then yeah, I think it's very likely that something like that will happen. Anyways, like I said, check out our memberships and our Patreon if you want to support the channel and if you want access to all of our charts. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.